Okay, so to start off, happy birthday, big brother. You have turned 50. Congratulations. And your wife asked me to try to go back in history and think of a few things that I could share with the group tonight. And here's my list of things. So the first thing I remember is when I was a little boy. I mean, this is more about me probably than him, but I know that I would used to get mad at him because he wouldn't play with me or things like that. And I would always get so upset that I would tell him I was going to go mess up his room. And so I would go walk into his room and I'd throw his pillow on the floor and I'd turn a chair upside down and all these kind of things. And at that time we shared the room. We had a bunk bed that we shared. And I remember I'd come out, and I'd be all pouty and stuff like that. And then I would know, boy, I was going to get in trouble. He's going to beat me up if I didn't do something. So I would try to take it to some limit, and then I would run back into his room and I'd clean everything up that I messed up. So that's story number one. Second, some of these you're going to have to ask him about because I don't know as well. My brother broke his collarbone during school at Indian Creek Elementary one day, so you can ask him about that. For a white guy, when he was in high school, he's a pretty fast sprinter. So again, you can ask him a little bit more about that. I kind of looked up to him as an athlete when I was young. And kind of go along with that with his sprinting career, I remember a story when Brad Nelson, a friend of his in high school, during I think a graphic arts class, happened to be chasing him around with a scalpel an X-Acto knife during class, and ended up slicing his hand between his thumb and his forefinger. And that weekend, Scott had a track meet and repeatedly ended up breaking the stitches, because he had to crouch down in the sprinter's position. Can't ask him more about that. Scott used to hang around a lot with older kids, kids that were a couple years older than him. So once that we got to high school, where he was in high school and I was in middle school, I didn't see as much of him. And then my final story kind of goes way back. I don't even remember how old we were. It's kind of a hard memory, but we must have been on a trip somewhere. We were either going somewhere or coming back, and my dad was always the kind of person that when we did something wrong, all he had to do was kind of stare at us, and we would stop whatever the heck we were doing. He never had to spank us or anything. But on this one trip, I don't recall what Scott actually did, but he pissed off my dad so much that he stopped the car and he ripped Scott out of the car and threw him down on the ground and was spanking him and everything. And wherever we were, there was a gravel road. At least some part of it was a gravel road. And I remember Scott getting cut up, and like his hand bleeding or something like that. And he got into the back of the car and he's all crying and he's asking for a Band-Aid or something. And they wouldn't give it to him, or they just were shut up, and not responding to him at all. And I remember, I think I remember myself, trying to be a middleman and ask, you guys, he's hurt, could you give him a Band-Aid? And so, again, I have no idea what he did. I don't remember the details, but I don't remember how old we were, so ask Scott about that, find out a little bit more, and I hope to see all the other YouTube stories. I'm sure there's going to be some good ones. I know he went to Paris, with John Vanderford. I'm sure there's some good stories from there, things like that. So, again, happy birthday, Scott, and I'm sad that we're not there. Wish you guys could have come in town. We'll catch up when we see you next. Bye-bye.